We're gonna do some more overclocking. NZXT's starter PC series now starts at $699 and gives you everything you need to get into the world of PC. Available in multiple configurations, the starter PC can be tailored to meet your budget and needs and are the perfect way to build a work or learn from home setup while still being capable of 1080p 60 FPS gaming and popular titles like Fortnite, Rainbow Six Siege, and League of Legends. All of NZXT PCs come backed with a 2-year warranty on parts, labor, and RAM overclocking, helping to guarantee the best gaming possible for your build. To see the full list of specs and pricing on the NZXT Starter PC series, click the link in the description below. All right, so just a little word about this video you guys are about to watch. I'm not entirely proud of it, but it's real, and so it is what it is. I'm gonna share it anyway. It starts off with good intent, and then it just ends up being frustrated and getting angry, and I'm not proud of that because I'm a keep your cool kind of a person. Yeah, you know, if you follow me on Twitter, you're like, what the frick is he talking about? Shut up. Anyway, I got really mad about some things in this video, and then later on I found out I was an idiot, and yeah, I figured out my problem physically with what I was dealing with today, the day you guys are watching this. So I said in this video, this will be the last LN2 video that you're gonna see. That's a lie. There's at least one more because now that I figured out my problem, we're actually making progress. So if you look right now, we're setting up to show you guys that. So I missed the trash can, whatever. Enjoy the video. Just laugh at me. Me getting mad is kind of funny. All right, so you guys have, if you guys have been following long enough on the whole overclocking adventures thing, you know, I've been sort of struggling. Like I get to a point and I can't get past that. And I've gotten a lot of coaching from Kingpin. And so, I mean, the rest is just on me. I've been given the information. I just need to start doing it, I guess, right? So a lot of the cracking sounds you guys hear, it's actually the installation, as you can see, cracking. So I'll probably clean this up a little bit. You'll notice I took the back installation off. It's so gross. Yes, guys, I've seen the video from what's his face, Louis Rossmann, about our sonic cleaner and the alcohol being bad. I'm aware of it, okay? Let's just say that. But moving forward with this is the first card we got, the one that clocks higher than the second card, which is kind of a dud. We received another PCB to see if we can get the scores to improve or the clocks to improve because Vince wants that card back so he can be like, are you just an idiot or is it actually not a great overclocking card? Because up on the leaderboard now, there's a lot of Kingpin cards popping up and they are like all beating me. So what do you expect? I mean, I'm new to this. So this is the retention bracket that's on the back of quite a few of the 3090s. And one of the things he explained to me was that because of how wide the mounting points are away from the center of the GPU, it's hard to get firm pressure on the center of the die, which has a lot to do with your temperature control, and it has an awful lot to do with how far you can go on the frequency because of temperature spikes during load. So I've showed you guys before the mounting pressure, right? And there's always like a circle or a spot in the center. That's where there's more firm pressure, but if it doesn't make it all the way to the edges, then you can get hot spots on the die and that can create instabilities. So one of the things he recommended is that I try to find a way to put firm pressure on there. Now, I've showed you guys my mounting technique for the pot, how I just take this big iFixit, kind of a pick looking thing, place it over the MLCCs on the back. I use a C-clamp to apply firm pressure in the very center. Then I tighten down the nuts and then I remove the C-clamp and off we go. So I was debating just doing some runs right now with the C-clamp on, but one of the things that Vince had recommended is that I try putting the back retention plate back on. So what happens is, this pushes down like this, and then as you tighten down the screws, that's really hard to push that actually. It'll apply that firm pressure right to the center around the perimeter of the GPU die. I wanna try that first. Now, because I know I have a great mount right now on this, and I showed you guys last time, like the mount on this is good, really, really good. And I don't wanna take it off because as you can see, I've got all the installation going around right now. I'd have to take this back off. And I just don't want to break the seals that I have going, and I don't want to undo the good mount that I know that I have. So what I'm gonna do right now, because if I undo these screws, I'm gonna lose that mount. I'm gonna put my C-clamp back on, and then I'm going to hold it in place with the C-clamp while I loosen up those screws to put that retention bracket on, and then we'll do some testing. If it doesn't seem to have improved or done anything for me, then I might try it with the C-clamp. And then what we'll probably do is see if I get any improvements on a card where I already know where it lands. My current single card score is with this one. So that will allow me to see if I gained anything by playing with the pressure mount. Now that I've learned a lot more, I haven't really gone back and tried single card. I kind of want to try that again with this card to see if I gain anything. Then we'll check out the second card, or the third card technically, to see if it's just the card or me being stupid. But I need to go and get something real quick. As long as you're careful and you don't over tighten, this isn't bad. The hard part is I just wish I had 3 hands sometimes. So I can hold the card, hold the C-clamp, and hold the twisty screwy part of it. Oh, I'm an idiot. How am I gonna put this on? Wait. I wasn't very good at shapes in kindergarten. There we go. That's how you pass an object through an object. So now I can undo these screws without losing that mount pressure. Ew, I got the Vaseline all over the fingers. Shut up. Did your mind go somewhere dirty with that? The nice thing too is that this will also help keep the mounting pressure even. Because one of the problems is if you just have the screws on the back of the, let's just call them studs, the studs sticking through, then all you really end up with is it could be uneven. But this will allow it to sort of, I think, level itself, which should help with the mounting pressure. So now that you know what I'm doing, let me go ahead and just get this all set up. Let me get the test bench up. Let me get the fans on the VRMs on this guy. And then I'll probably put some more tape and insulation around the top where it's all cracked there. Because one of the other things here is frost control. Like frost control is really difficult. One of the things that Vincent even suggested is like I have the block heater, the heater for the back of this. He had suggested like not hooking it up, but then using that to mount to the back to give something like more firm for the card to mount against, but I don't want to do that. Given how tight this is, I'm feeling pretty good about this bracket. I've just got to go for the good numbers immediately. I've said this a million times, and I know it could potentially make for a shorter video if I'm like, hey look, 2 runs and there we go. But that's the way it goes apparently. If you sit there and you screw around with it forever, you never get the card becomes fatigued it becomes too cold. You start having frost buildup everywhere, and then you're not gonna get your good scores. Like Kingpin, he's like, long clocking sessions make for great overclocks or great streams and entertainment, but you're not gonna get good scores out of it. We kind of came up with a way to deal with the vapors and cool the CPU a little more at the same time. The vapors get sucked up through the AIO, which as you can see, will help cool it some because the vapors themselves are very cold. As long as it doesn't come crashing down on everything in the middle of the run, we should be okay. Okay, so this is the first time I've ever had the clocks or the temps be essentially exactly the same with K-boost on. Because like if I turn K-boost off, it stays roughly the same. So before I would turn on K-boost, the clocks would come up and then the temp would there'd be a delta between the two, but that's at 34.4, that's at 35. So that's kind of good. That tells me that mounting pressure might actually be doing something. So I gotta start pulling the temps down quickly. Well, not too quickly. And then just go for it, I guess. I'm cheating. I'm kind of going with some recommended starting points that Vince has recommended. That's what makes them recommended starting points. I've explained before, and I know this sounds like repeat, but I know a lot of people will pick up seeing this for the first time on one of these videos that's like way after the fact that we've done 3 or 4 of these already. It takes time for the pot to fully reach temperature. Like you may have a part of the pot that's coldest at the bottom because of the fact that that's where the LN2 is collecting down there and puddling and creating the coldest spot. But it takes time for the entire pot to reach its temperature. That way it can maintain that amount of temperature control under load. And so if you just go, oh, it's at minus 100 now, and then just go for it, you will probably have a big temperature increase because of the fact that the pot is not as cold as it can be, therefore allowing it to stay that cold, if that makes sense. I probably explained that very poorly. So now they're at minus 55. It reaches a point too where it just doesn't really want to go any colder, like at first, which is good because that tells me right now with the voltage applied, and this is the RTX classified controller. This comes with EVGA cards, or excuse me, Kingpin cards, because this is what unlocks the software voltage control inside the card. So without that, you have no voltage control. No, you cannot just download that and then start voltage controlling your Furtherwind 3 cards and stuff. It just only works with the Kingpin cards because that's the way it's designed and the controller works. It takes a lot of LN2 to get the temperature initially down. In terms of temperatures though, it does seem like around minus 125 to 130 C is where we tend to get the best results. Because here's the thing, it's not just finding the balance between voltage and frequency, it's also temperature. Temperature has a big effect on stability as well. And too cold can be just as bad as too hot. Too hot's really obvious, but too cold is sometimes hard to tell because of the way that the issues will sort of present themselves. Now, my previous score in the past was a best of 2550. I think it was 2550 or 2565. Either way, with 1900 megahertz memory. I'm gonna try going with a little bit lesser memory and a little bit more core on this first run. The pot is not ready yet. It's still full of LN2 boiling right now, and we're at minus 100 and it's coming down slowly. So once this is burned up, I'll torch the pot. I felt like I was missing something and I was. This will create ice inside the pot, which will give us a good insulation factor so that we can keep the pot as cold as possible, and then we'll do our first run. Well, let's go for, I want to go for 2600. I just want to see if that'll even go, you know what I mean? I like that sound. That tells me it's cold in there. It also tells me the GPU's heating up, like as it's getting ready to run this test. Oh, I'm gonna say it again. This card is not capable of more. I've said this a million times. Vince gets mad. It's true. I know he's going, what the hell? I'm the expert. You're not. How can you say that? And I'm gonna say the settings I keep being told to try don't even come close to going. And it's frustrating. Frustrating? It's frustrating. And I want to try the other card. It's just, I want to see where we get with this one. Like, I have to believe it goes higher than 2565 because all the other Kingpin cards that are showing up on there are doing like 2700. And I know this probably seems really boring, but this is it. This is what you do. It's so f***ing frustrating because it always will crash at the same frame, and I don't understand it. I'm just upping the voltage each time right now to see what happens, to see if it's voltage or what, because I reduced the clock and it ended up crashing at the same exact frame. When with more VRM cooling and more mount pressure, I'm not getting any better overclocking ability out of it. That time it crashed even sooner. I'm gonna reduce the voltage then and see. I feel like the load line level 6 is too aggressive. I believe it's dropping too much voltage. This is really taxing on just my nerves and my frustrations. And to see other guys get their cards, like, oh look, first time, 2700, easy. Shut up. That time it crashed immediately. All right, so I think we need to try a little bit lesser load line on there. This will probably be the last LN2 video. I'm just starting to get burnt out on it. I think by loosening it up and putting that bracket on, I think that screwed the paste. And I think it needs a proper remount. And rather than doing it to this card, I want to try the new card that we got to see if that one's any better. Yeah, see? All right, it's the mount. Good to know. We're gonna shut this one down. I'm not gonna take you guys along for the ride of putting the pot on the new card because you guys have seen that a million times. We've showed it more than once, and I'm just gonna do it and we'll come back with the new card that we got to see what happens. I just need to warm this one up and then we'll come back. Okay, so everything's installed on the new card. Our BIOS has been updated to the unlocked LN2 thingamabobber. Our voltages do apply, everything sort of works. We just crossed -5, so now I'm gonna do the same thing like you saw last time. So rather than show you all the same crap, let me go ahead and bring the temps down, get it all going, we'll see what happens on our first run. I really don't know what to expect with this card. I do like that the vapors are going up and out of the way though. Nick had a lot of fun making this. Nick made this. If it looks like some crazy contraption that I would have made, that's why Nick's here. We do things brain-wise together. I'll give you $5 if you put your tongue on there. I'm good. No. Wow. God, man, I just suck at this so badly, you know that? Why am I so bad at this? I'm starting to wonder if that bracket, the way I have it on there, is causing a bad mount. I guess one thing I could do to investigate is I could take that one off. This is the first card we had right there, and see how that mount is doing. If this is causing bad mounting pressure, then that's not gonna help us at all. Look at that. All right, so back to the basics. Because I have no idea where this card will go, I'm just keeping it cold, keeping the voltage really pretty much stock on the core, I've got the memory pushed really far right now, though I want to see if the memory will even pass. And then what I'm doing now is I'm trying to see how far I can go on the stock voltage. Once we crash, then we up the voltage, see where our new limits are, and we leapfrog it up. Stuff that Vince hates when I do, because he's like, this really prolongs how long you bench the card, which really affects your maximum numbers. But if I can't even get a single test to run at 5,600 or even down to like 5,490 like I tried and it still crashes, then what good is trying for those high scores if I don't even know where I'm starting? So that's what we're doing right now. And what I'll do is I'll show you guys where we get our initial crash, and then yeah, it's not very good FPS, but then again, we're only at like 2,250 megahertz right now. All right, so here's the crazy part right here. This test is about to finish. It's only at minus 80 C again, because this is stock voltage. I'll show you what the frequency is here in a second. I know that Vince said that this is a top tier bin. We're at stock volts, 2,400 megahertz, 16,615. So, I mean, my best score was a 17,501. Well, technically a 507. I think I have a saved score on here. But I haven't even touched the voltage, and our memory is at 1,800. So I've touched the memory voltage, yeah, but I haven't touched any of the NVDDD. Now, the MSVDD is at 1.2, and then the frequency on the NV and MS frequency is at 1,000, and OCP is disabled. So that means this would not have run with those enabled like default. But that voltage at that frequency is pretty damn telling. Let's see if 2445 will pass with stock core voltage and all those other supporting voltages raised. Oh, it crashed right at the end. Like literally right at the end. Okay, so that's fine. I'm now going to bump up my voltage. It's the same way you overclock anything on water or your graphics card or whatever. You leave your voltages stock if you have voltage control. You leave your voltage stock and you find where you crash. Then, instead of backing off the clock, you up the voltage slightly. And then you monitor your temperatures. If your temperatures stay under control, then you keep doing that until you no longer either have proper temperatures, they get too hot, or you are no longer stable because you run out of voltage. So, okay, now we're crashing like almost right at the start, which is funny because we got farther than that on less voltage before. I've been told that these like to be around 125, between 125 and 135, obviously minus 125, 135. But I'll be honest, I'm all over the place. I can't keep the temperatures nearly as consistent as I'd like. And I really am just pissing into a fan in a dark room. That's what it feels like. Not that I know what pissing into a fan in a dark room feels like. All right, so I cannot get anywhere with this card, and I'm starting to actually get like truly angry at this. And I don't want to break anything out of anger, because that happens when I get mad, things get thrown and broken, and I really don't want to do that with these cards. It's really frustrating, and this isn't against Vince, but it's really frustrating getting told, like, it's just do this, just did this thing and do it and it's fine, just go, and it's like, no, it's not just that easy, do the thing and fine, let's go. Yeah, you put in the numbers exactly as you're told to put them in, and they don't come anywhere close to running a complete test. I can do the chicken walking like you just saw, where I can get really far on stock voltage and then it crashes, and then no matter what I do after that, it won't run no more. I can't get even 5 more megahertz out of it. And I mean, I was talking to Nick about this, and I feel like a lot of this started after we put the stupid back retention thing on. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and undo the mount on this card. This is the first one, and I really want to see, Jesus tape. I really want to see if that screwed it up, because I can't even get anywhere close to the numbers I was able to on this card before doing this stupid back mount thing. I want to see if the mount got all crooked doing it this way, because I have a feeling that's our problem. Because it got really bad. It got really bad doing it that way. So let me just sort of see here. It's a fairly centered mount. You can see the pressure right in the middle. But it still seems like a lot of the die is not getting good coverage. You can see how it's thicker on the outsides and thinner in the middle. I guess I'll do a remount on that, and we'll try it one more time without the bracket again. I'm at the end of my frustration. Like, the amount that I can tolerate is all that I can say. And I think anyone out there that's ever done anything even remotely like this has to know what I'm talking about, and knows what I'm feeling right now in terms of frustration. All right, so I repasted and remounted this one. I took the back plate off, but I just want to see if anything will happen, anything positive whatsoever with this. I'm not the kind of person that likes to give up. I'm not. And that's what makes this so difficult for me, is the fact that I'm not very good at it. I want to get better, but I'm at the same stupid wall constantly. And I know I'm doing something wrong here, and I just don't know what it is. Not that I want to jinx it, but that's the farthest we've gotten yet. Even if it crashes right now, the fact that we've gotten as far as we have by taking that retention plate off tells me that was causing probably an uneven mount, even though the mount looked right. I don't know. Oh, see, it just crashed right now. I don't know how to explain that. I also don't know what it means when it crashes in certain parts of the test. I don't know what it means if it crashes in the middle versus the beginning could be a bad pace, the end could be hot VRMs. I don't know what any of that is. I'm just guessing, and I'm guessing over and over and over, and it's so infuriating. I'm gonna try dropping the load line while also upping the voltage some. Because it's one of those things where it's been explained to me that the different parts of the test have different load, and as such, depending on the difficulty of that render, that portion to render, can determine how far the voltage can rubber band in either direction. It was recommended by Vince that I actually take the pigtails that plug into the back and use a physical voltmeter to see what the volts are doing, so I can see, oh, it crashed when it spiked, or it crashed when it dipped. But I just haven't done that yet. I have a hard enough time keeping track of what see, now we're crashing instantly. Do you see what I mean? How far we made it into the damn run, and then you don't change anything except one load line setting, and then you crash instantly at the start? Now watch, I'll put it back to where it was. I'll go back. This is exactly where it was when it crashed as the ship was starting to land. This is the exact same settings, and I will bet you money right now it will crash at the very start of the test, and I don't know what that means. But for it to make it 3/4 of the way through the test, or halfway, whatever, and then suddenly go, nope, right at the start, why? What happened? What changed? What's the science there? I'm a cause and effect guy. A caused B. And it's like, I don't know what's causing what, and it's driving me. Look, what'd I tell you? The exact same settings that I had, now crashing. For God knows what reason. Like, this isn't even fun anymore. And I'm sure like the audience is already getting fatigued, like, Jay, why do you keep doing this to yourself? I don't know. But I can tell you right now, I'm as fed up with it as you are. This is a stupid hobby. I'm starting to agree with everyone now that goes, this is pointless. Screw it, I don't care anymore. Let's go really cold. Or minus 165. This is pointless. I'm just getting a little bit of frustration now by abusing the card. The funny part is in SLI, I've gotten them to run at minus 180 almost all the way through a test, which is way too cold for the core, which makes me wonder how the hell it was running. I don't know. Crashing the black screen. See? I pushed the voltage so far right now. I'm just curious if anything will even happen. It probably needs a system restart, but I need a J restart. Yeah, same exact thing. Let's just do a power cycle here. Yep. All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm not going to do these videos on LN2 anymore. It's just not fun. It's just not fun for me anymore. I'm going to walk away from this. I'm going to take it off of the workbench so that it doesn't get water all up inside of the system here. Don't worry, I won't bore you guys with these videos anymore. Sorry to show you this moment of weakness of Angry Jay, but I don't even care anymore. Kai!